One of the topics we want to deal with today is on the cycle of poverty and how to break it. There's two kinds of people in this world. You have the haves and the have-nots. Even though we look at our lives as lives between blacks and whites, but I look at life differently from a point of people that have knowledge, superior knowledge, and people that have no knowledge. Or if we have to use religious terms, we will talk about people that have the light and the people that live in darkness. Knowledge and the quality of knowledge that you have plays a very big role in the kind of life that you lead. There's a lot of rules that govern the poor and a lot of rules that govern the rich. Understanding these rules, the so-called hidden rules, make a lot of difference. Now, what is poverty? Majority of us, when we think of poverty, we think of lack of money, the ability to buy things that we like. But poverty comes in so many different ways. So let's look at the different kinds of poverty. But before we define poverty, let's define what wealth is. Number one here, when we talk about wealth, we're talking about knowledge. They say knowledge is power, but I totally disagree. Applied knowledge is power. Just having knowledge and not being able to use it makes no sense at all. There are three things that will lead us to acquiring knowledge. First one here is information. And to have information, you have to have a sense of awareness. You have to have the ability like a child. You have to be excited. You have to be looking for things that are not there. Now, awareness leads to information. Information automatically leads to knowledge, and applied knowledge leads to wisdom. Wisdom is applied knowledge, and this is where the difference comes in. We live in an age and era where knowledge is at the tip of your fingertips. If you have a smartphone, if you have access to internet, there is no shortage of knowledge. But how many or how much of the knowledge that you have access to do you always apply? Majority of us, unfortunately, we're looking for easy fix. We're looking for quick schemes to make money overnight. And in doing that, we keep on running from one shiny object to the next. The second thing we need here is energy. It takes a lot of energy for you to achieve your goals. It takes a lot of energy for you to make money. The amount of energy that you have will be in total proportion to how much money you make. Remember, money is called as currency. Money is a currency. Currency comes from the root word current. Current, in other words, means electricity. So the amount of energy, high energy attracts high money, or high energy or high current increases high energy. So majority of us, what gives you energy? Energy is in total proportion to how you move your body, how you feed your body, how you rest your body. Now you'll find the rich people, the people that have the most of the things that we want in our society, they take care of themselves, they eat better, they exercise, they rest. So this becomes a very big part of who we are, or when it comes to wealth. Number three is environment. This is easy. If you go to the so-called poor environments, ghettos, townships, these are places with a very high number of unemployed people. But what kind of state are they in from a cleanliness point of view? If you go to townships, if you go to ghettos, if you go to the low economic areas, these places are dirty environment. If you come to rich places, your suburbs, these are the busiest people in the society, but they still find ways to make sure that their lawns are manicured, their fences are well cut, the doors, the walls outside are painted, the gate is shining. Environment, unfortunately, a dirty environment leads to a dirty mind. A dirty mind, unfortunately, cannot think straight. So environment is very, very important. Wealth starts with your environment. You don't have to live in the suburbs for you to have a clean environment. You don't have to live in a 3, 4 bedroom house for you to have a clean house. You don't have to have China set of cups for you to have clean sink. Environment is important. How you keep your environment determines how you think. Number 4 here is network. Your net worth is in total proportion to your network. We've been told, Big Mama always says that you're the sum total of the 5 people that you hang out with. So if 4 of your friends are alcoholics, chances are you're the 5th alcoholic. If 4 of your friends are adulterers, chances are you're the 5th adulterer. If 4 of your friends are smokers, chances are you are the 5th smoker. If 4 of your friends are overweight, chances are you're going to be the 5th overweight person. And if the 4 of your friends are broke, there is a high probability that you're going to be the 5th broke person because most of them will be borrowing money from you. So network is important. You have to be very intentional. The kind of people that you spend time with, the kind of people that you hang out with, the kind of people that you consistently keep on communicating with when it comes to your WhatsApp messages. Pull out your phone and look at the people that you SMS all the same time, people that you constantly WhatsApp, people that you constantly talking. That will determine who you are. Number 5 is entertainment and education. This is what I call E to E ratio. E to E ratio. If you look at most rich people, or one form of wealth for you is, in most cases, your education to entertainment ratio should be at least 10 to 1. But most people that are struggling financially, it is the other way. Entertainment to education ratio is 10 to 1. If you're spending a lot of your time entertaining yourself, chances are you're going to be broke. If you walk into a rich neighborhood, they have a bigger library or they have more books. But if you walk into a poor neighborhood, the size of the television covers the whole wall. So they spend most of their time entertaining themselves than educating themselves. The other wealth we have here is time. How we manage our time determines how much we're going to get out of it. Time is the stuff that life is made of. If you look at how poor people, middle class, and rich people spend time, it's totally different. Poor people look at time from a survival point of view, which means that they live in the present time doing things that are going to ease their pain. Now, a poor person looks at time as a form of entertainment. Entertainment is a very big part of somebody that is struggling financially as a way of numbing the pain. And when we're talking about entertainment here, we're talking about watching television, we're talking about listening and dancing to loud music, we're talking about consistently playing video games, we're talking about drinking, eating junk food. Anything that gives you instant gratification becomes what they use time for. If you look at middle class people, they use time to plan for the future. This is where they bring in time in terms of education. But rich people use time to create leverage. They use time for investment because they know this is the stuff. This is the only leverage they have in terms of deciding what kind of life they're going to live forward. Now, all these things make it easier. Now, if you look at this now, number 7 here is where I bring in money. Money as a form of wealth shows you that it's not the most important. It's a byproduct of all these things. Most of us put money as number 1, your ability to buy things. but your ability to buy things is in total proportion to the value that you bring to the environment, the country, or the society that you live in. Money is a sign to show that you've served others. Because if I help you lose weight now, if I help you make more money now, if I help you clean your car, make it better, if I help you cut your hair so that you can go to that wedding looking your best, I've added value to your life. And by creating that value for you, automatically the best thing you can do to show appreciation for the service that I've offered you is by giving me money. So having money is a sign of showing everybody in society that you've added value to somebody else. For me to be able to wear this, it means I've added value to somebody else, and somebody has paid me, and using that money I can be able to buy this t-shirt. For me to be able to buy these lights, for me to be able to pay my mortgage, for me to be able to buy that car, for me to be able to go sit down and eat in a restaurant, for me to be able to go in that gym and work out because I've paid. It's a sign that I'm showing other people that I add value to other people somewhere else. And in return to say thank you for the service that you've offered, what do? They pay me with money. Now, there's a lot of traps. There's a lot of things that are trapping most of our young people when it comes to building wealth. Now, there's simple things that we have to understand here. Knowledge precedes anything, because you have to have the ability, one, to identify opportunities. And then identifying that opportunity, you have to have the ability to come up with a solution, because life is simply a series of solving challenges. Everybody you meet on a daily basis has a problem, and you have to become a solution to that person's problem. And in doing that, automatically, the best way that person can pay you back is simply by giving you money. Number 8 here is communication, or for lack of better word, language. The language of the poor, language of the middle class, and language of the rich is totally different. How you communicate, communication is number 2 on the chain of provision, of value provision in life. If you look at people that are singers, they're communicators. If you look at actors, they're communicators. If you look at salesmen, they're communicators. These are people that use their words. They use their words to create. They use their words to form things. They use the words to create pictures. How you communicate, people like Steve Jobs, people like Elon Musk, they are making a lot of money because they have the ability to communicate to so many people at the same time and draw a picture for the future. And the people in return, because they believe in what these people are selling or the picture they're painting of the future, they are able to part with money. And one of the best examples here, we can look at Tesla. Tesla is coming to the marketplace. Tesla is come to disrupt the motor industry. And one of the things that he did here, the first cars he had to bring in 100,000 people. And forgive me if I'm wrong when it comes to figures here. I think people had to put down a deposit for $100,000 per car before this car was ever manufactured. Now, for you to be able to invest in somebody's dream that is not, it's just a dream in his head, and is put on paper, but is not real in the real physical realm, you can imagine how powerful you have to be as an orator. And that has become one of the things. Most of us, if you look at most people from poor townships, ghettos, people that are grown up in places where we didn't grow up with money, automatically our language is very casual. And that casual language, if you take it into the middle class space or into the rich person space, you're going to lose out opportunities, because what you're saying does not resonate with these people. When they're talking about return on investment, when they're talking about investments, when they're talking about incubators, things that we don't really understand. So you have to invest in your communication. You have to invest in your language. You have to understand. One research that I read says that Your success is in total proportion to the size of your vocabulary. The bigger your vocabulary, the more vocal, the more eloquent you are in terms of communicating. The less words you have, the poorer a communicator you become. If you cannot express yourself, you become frustrated. And if you become frustrated, people end up making up things in their head. And if you leave your reputation to be decided by other people, there's a big chance it's not going to be much. People don't have the time to see the best in you. They have the time only to give they give the least time to giving you the best version of yourself. And the thing is that you will lose. Now, how do we break this cycle of poverty into a cycle of abundance? Now, there are three things that we have to use here. Number one here is mindset. Your mindset is very much linked to your belief system. Personally, if I had to think of myself, the only time I ever thought or saw my parents talk about money is when my father gave money for it to be spent. So my father gave money for it to be used in buying things. Now, growing up as a young boy, mentally, I only believed that money was there to be spent. So even when I grew up, I just wanted to spend that money. And that's a poverty mindset. There's always a hole burning in your pocket. Before you get even that money, you're in a rush to send it. Now, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset around money. Before your pocket grows, your mind has to grow. You cannot have money in your pocket until your mind grows. You have to change your psychology around money. You have to change what money means to you. You have to change how do you get money? How do you become a person of value that money becomes the byproduct? Who do you need to become in the process so that people throw money at you? There is no better place as a human being where the only way people can reward you is by giving you money. And at that point, you stop being a beggar. All of a sudden, you start attracting money. How do you become a money magnet? And that's one thing here that we have to change when it comes to breaking the cycle. The second thing here is skill set. What skill set or trade? What skill set or trade must you acquire that people around you, community you live in, the country you live in, where you work, that the only way they need that skill set and the only way is paying you by money? Because if you don't have a skill set, then automatically you are living in survival mode. How do you change from that? People will always need plumbers. People will always need electricians. People will always need teachers. People will always need doctors. There's so many things. What is it in your community at this point that you can start as a service? And service is always the easiest way to start a business rather than a product. What is it that you can do that is going to get you from survival mode into success mode? What skill set can you do? You have two things at this point if you're young, anybody that is under 30, you have time and you have energy. Those are the assets that you're going to invest in terms of getting what? In terms of getting your skill set. Third thing here is your belief system. Do you believe that you can be rich? Do you believe that you're ready to bring in delayed gratification as one of your values so that you can have a better future? Can you wait? Can you wait? Can you tell yourself that if you cannot buy it cash, that you're not ready to get it? Can you wait to save for that pair of shoes? Can you wait to pay for that phone rather than making sure that you're getting this phone on pay as you go while you're using it for nothing? Because you have to understand anything that you use is either a tool or a toy. Now, if you're spending money, if you have to get into debt, and you're getting a phone because you're going to use this phone to make money, then that phone is no longer a toy, that phone is a tool. But if you're going to get that money on debt because you want an iPhone, because you want to look good among your peers, then that is not a tool, that is a toy. And that is not creating wealth. Automatically, it means that you're becoming poor when that happens. I need you to believe that you can rise. I need your belief system to know that you've been created for a specific purpose. You need to believe in yourself, irrespective of your background, irrespective of your circumstances. You have to believe that you're worthy. You have to believe that you have the ability to learn anything, because you do. It doesn't mean that changing your life is going to be easy. It doesn't. Transformation is a battle. Transformation is war. Transformation is declaring war on the weaker, smaller you. Transformation is simply meaning that I'm not going to stand anything that stops me from being my best version. It means that you have to drop some of the friends that you're hanging out with. It means that you have to stop doing things that give you instant pleasure in the moment. It means that you have to start doing things that you don't like doing, but you know they're going to move you forward. Your belief system means that you have to adopt discipline as one of your values. You have to believe that for you to move from survival to success, there are so many things that you enjoy doing now, because becoming poor is not a one-day event. Becoming poor is a series of steps, a series of behaviors, a series of things that you do on a daily basis. And that's why we're becoming poor as we get older. As you get older, your life gets harder because you haven't changed who you were in your 20s. And all the stupid things that you did in your 20s, unfortunately, there's no free lunch in life. Every single thing that you did in your 20s, you're going to pay for it in your 40s. Be it in your health, be it in your money management skills, be it in your relationships. Life doesn't really care whether you knew or not. So the onus is on you. Brother, nobody's coming to save you. You must become the Jesus you've been praying by changing. And by changing and understanding that money is the last thing, when it becomes to you being defined or being changed from being poor to being rich, you have to undergo these steps. You have to read books. You have to study. You have to change how you spend your spare time. You have to start eating right. You have to start moving. You have to start taking care of your body, because your body is the only vehicle that you're going to use to get to your destination. If your destination is wealth, if your destination is abundance, the kind of vehicle that you use to get there matters. A person that is driving an X5, a person that is driving BMW, a Mercedes, a person that is driving a McLaren, a person that is driving a BMW, they get there faster than somebody that is driving or riding there in a taxi. So your energy matters. Environment. You can still live in a poor environment, in a poor township, in a poor neighborhood, but mentally you don't live there. So occasionally you have to come to the richer areas. You have to go to Santon City. You have to come to Morningside. You have to go to Bryanston. You have to come to Sunninghill. You have to go to those places that you've never lived, because if you've never seen it, you can never be it. If you don't know anybody that has it, you can never has it. Because our brains, they can only think and see in pictures. You have to see somebody that looks like you for you to believe you can have it. You have to see somebody that drives a car exactly that looks like you for you to believe you can own it one day. You have to see somebody like you that is running a business for you to believe that you are not born just to work. You have to see somebody like you that goes to that gym and loses weight and becomes a new person for you to change. So environment is key. You don't have to move from Alex, move from wherever it is and come live in Morningside, but you have to make sure that you interact with those environments. There are people I talk to, they were born in Alex, they were raised in Alex, they've never been to Santon. And that closes your mindset. Network. Start checking your friends. if the research shows that you'll never earn more than 5,000 rands more than your friends. And if your friends are earning less than you, or you own earning the same amount of money with your friends, it's about time you broke loose from that group and start hanging out with the people that are earning 3 times, 4 times more money than you. What that does is it enlarges your network. It changes how you think. They force you to think differently. They force a new, different perspective on you. They eat in different restaurants. They drive different cars. They speak different things. Their jokes are different, and that changes. Your network is very important. Entertainment. You are not born for entertainment. Entertainment is very much linked to poverty. The poorer the person is, the louder music they play. The poorer the person is, the more booze they drink. The poorer the person is, the more sex they want. The poorer the person is, the more kids they have. Because unfortunately, to numb the pain of poverty, people bring in entertainment. There's watch. All weekend they can take 8 hours watching millionaires, billionaires in terms of soccer stars playing. You're not allowed to watch television if you're financially struggling. That time you're supposed to be investing in yourself by studying, by educating yourself, by studying those people. Rather than watching Ronaldo, read about how Ronaldo became famous. How does Ronaldo manage his money? How does Ronaldo invest his mindset? All those things are important. Time, irrespective of whether you're tall or short, whether you're beautiful or ugly, thin or fat, black or white, Muslim or Christian, we all given 24 hours a day. You're not going to get 25 hours because you're different. You're not going to get 25 hours because God loves you too much. You're not going to get 25 hours because you're beautiful. You're not going to get 25 hours because you have a PhD. Time is the equalizer of life. Time is the only true democracy in time. So how you invest your time determines what outcome that you get. Now, time is a commodity. You either invest it or you spend it. Like anything else, if you spend money, it means the money goes out. If you invest money, it means the money comes back in. So are you going to invest your time or spend your time? Most rich people invest their time. They invest their time by eating right. They invest their time by reading books. They invest their time by hanging out with friends that they want to look like. They invest their time by working out. How you spend your time determines what kind of person you're going to be. Are you going to stay the side of poverty, or are you going to break free and then become rich? Money. You have to understand money. Most of us only know money from one facet, that we work and then we get paid and we pay bills. That is the cycle. Now, if you look at majority, how we've been brought up with money, let's look at money in different ways. There are 3 things that get involved when it comes to making money. Number 1 here is time. Now, if you look at time, time is a finite. Time is finite. Then we invest in time and we make money. And money is an asset. It's a depreciating asset. Money is a depreciating asset. And then we use this money to buy clothes, to buy a car, and these are depreciating liabilities. Now, if you look at this equation, what does it lead to? It leads to poverty, because time, you can't make more of it. Money is consistently, if you're trading time for money, there's only a certain amount of money you can make. Because if you're being paid $1 an hour and you're working 24 hours a day, you can only make 24 hours, because there's nothing you can do here unless you learn how to leverage your time. So using time, which is finite, this is a finite resource. Time is a finite resource. plus money that is a depreciating asset, and then we use it in terms of buying depreciating liabilities, will never break that cycle. We need to change the understanding of money here. Money needs to grow. Money needs to consistently work for you. As long as you're working for money, if you're exchanging time for money, you will never change your life. How do we build leverage? Those are things that we need to understand. This is how the rich people work. And then communication. How do you build your communication? You can only improve your communication, one, by consistently talking, two, by reading books, three, by listening to people that talk, people that you want to become with, people that make their living from talking. And if we bring this, we do this straight away, it changes how our mindset, which is mindset plus skill set plus belief system, equals abundance. So which of these do you resonate with? Which area are you struggling with? Because this becomes the easy escape plan from poverty to prosperity. Remember, from poverty to prosperity, there's no easier escape plan. There's no easier way than this. It's a process. Unfortunately, there's no one step that you can take unless it's a pyramid scheme and become wealthy. You have to go through this step. You become wealthy by becoming a rich person yourself, and by you changing, automatically you attract wealth. Let me know which part of this you resonate with. Let me know what you're struggling with. Hope to catch you soon. God bless, and catch you on the other side. If you're struggling with any of this, don't forget to click on the link below, download one of our ebooks, and I will catch you on the next session. God bless and take care.